Hi, this is Travis Lindsay. I am a professor of entrepreneurship here at Cal State Fullerton, one of the managers of the CSUF Startup Incubator, and an angel investor with a focus on pre-seed startups. I'm here today to do an interview with one of our Cal State Fullerton students, Bryan Ruef. Bryan is an entrepreneur. He started a company called 10-8 Systems. And Bryan, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Bryan. I'm a senior here at Cal State Fullerton. I started a company called 10-8 Systems, and it's a cloud-based public safety software platform. So basically, I make software for police departments, fire departments, security, everything in between, anything that needs dispatching, basically. And our company provides that platform to them. And basically just wanted to come on here today and kind of give back. I mean, Cal State Fullerton and the entrepreneurship program has done a lot for me. And, I get a lot of questions about entrepreneurship and how to start a business and all of that. And, thought it'd be good to come back and kind of, give back.
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, and yeah, I think interviews like this really help shed some light on what it means to be an entrepreneur. And seeing as we have worked with you for what now, like a little bit over a year, and you have made tremendous progress in building 10-8 Systems with your brother Kevin. And you were just telling me before we started this interview that you're extremely busy right now for obvious reasons. I mean, you created a dispatching service, so you're in high demand. Can you tell us why you started this business while you are still in college? Why didn't you wait until after you graduated?
I guess it's kind of like the old adage, there's no time like the present. I'm in a really lucky position right now, and so is my brother. And we both are in positions where I'm in school, so I have a lot more leeway than if I was in a full-time job. Kevin luckily has a wife that is able to help when, was able to help a lot at the beginning of this. And, we're just at a really good point in our lives to be able to make this happen. And, I think there could always be an excuse of why we could push something back, or why, oh, let's wait until next year. Let's wait until next year. Let's wait until next year. That could always go on. So, I think that there's no time like the present. And I really saw while I was still working, in volunteering with the sheriff's department and going on ride-alongs and working as an EMT and all of this, I saw that this was a problem that was very, very urgent and very immediate. Their systems just weren't working. And, I just couldn't believe that this had gone on for as long as it had. And, wanted to go in and change that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. And I mean, JJ, he's for those of you who don't know, he's the director for our Center for Entrepreneurship here at Cal State Fullerton, professor in the classroom, and he's on the Angel group that I belong to as well, among many other things. But one of the things he always preaches is there's no time like the present. If you have a good idea, if you see an opportunity, you should pounce, and that's exactly what you did. So, I mean, like you were saying, I mean, you noticed in the market that, I mean, I think you were telling me like a year or so ago that there are some municipalities who are using paper and pen for dispatching.
Yep.
And I mean, heck, this is 2019 at the time, but 2020. And I mean, that's just so inefficient, and it leads to loss of lives and, so much other stuff. Now, jumping back to, and I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier about how we were talking before this interview started, about how you have become super busy over the last, couple of months, obviously because of the coronavirus pandemic. Can you talk about some of the challenges you faced with this surge in demand for your product?
It's been interesting. We are in a very unique position with the type of company that we have of, serving the public safety, that when a lot of other small businesses are taking a lot of really hard hits, we are, I don't want to say thriving, but, getting a lot more business. You know, it's prior to this, we were getting, you know, few leads a week, and now we're getting, you know, a few a day, and we are just getting all this incredible new amount of interest of people realizing that, you know, their systems just aren't working. And when they're getting as many calls as they're getting right now during this pandemic, their pen and paper methods or old systems of Excel spreadsheets or any of these other things, they just don't work for this. So they're starting to see that they need this new updated technology, and the time is now. And you know, we've also had some interest from some federal agencies, and so that's been a very interesting challenge, because both me and my brother obviously have never really worked with the federal government before. So, you know, it's been very interesting being able to use our resources and meet, you know, talk to people that have done this before, like our advisor from the incubator, Bill Van Vliet. You know, we've been talking to him and trying to figure out, how do you sell to the federal government? How do you work out those contracts? Who do you talk to? What's the verbiage to know going into these things? It's been just a lot of uncharted new territory.
Okay, and now with that in mind, I mean, so one of the things that I notice whenever I talk with students about starting a business is that they're kind of some of them are kind of, you know, like paralyzed, because there's just so much that you don't know when you go into it. With that in mind, and knowing that there's no way that you can know everything going into starting a business, especially, you know, as a student, maybe you didn't have as much business experience as somebody who is 45 years old and has started a couple of businesses and sold them. Like, what advice would you or do you give to your fellow students who want to start their own business?
You know, I think one of the biggest things is having partners. There is no way I could have ever done this on my own. You know, at the beginning, I might have thought that that was possible, but going into it now, you know, I really realize how the value of having someone with you throughout this journey. And, you know, whether that's a business partner or an advisor or somebody that can help you and guide you along the way, that's huge. I mean, for me, my very first learning experiences and getting into this business world, since, you know, I'm a computer science student, I didn't really have any, prior to this, any real business knowledge. Was, you know, reaching out to the Halo College and reaching out to other people on the university, and, you know, using that university resource to try to learn what I could. Like, for example, the entrepreneur in residence and computer science. That was really my first ever meeting with someone teaching me about important business terms going into the startup competition about a year ago. And, you know, I think that was huge to help kind of lay some groundwork and help me kind of get an overview of what this process would be like. Because you're right, when you first go into this, it feels like you're walking into it blind. You don't know what the steps are going to be, what it's going to look like in a year, what you're going to need to do to get there. And, you know, I think especially as a student, you have a very valuable resource of, you know, being able to leverage the university to help push you forward into, you know, developing to be the business person that you want to be.
Right, and I think that, you know, just to talk about you a little bit, I think you have more of a growth. This is a cliche at this point, but I think you have more of a growth mindset, where you just go, you do things, and you're more or less optimistic about what the results are going to be, or maybe you don't even think about it. You just keep on working towards building your business, and that helps when you do go out and you talk with mentors like Bill Van Vliet. I mean, he's a tremendous guy, right? I mean, he's the kind of guy that I was talking about when I asked that last question. You know, a little bit older, worked in some extremely high level positions, and just, you know, knows more about business than, you know, you or I will probably ever know. But it works for you because you're actually going out there and you're implementing and you're moving forward every day. So that, you know, that coupled with going out and, you know, finding mentors, finding partners like your brother who is great at sales and marketing, I think that you know, all that taken into together is what has really separated you from people who, you know, maybe just have an idea and really don't put the pedal to the metal and go out there and actually implement.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also I think the core of that is definitely just the passion that I have for this. You know, it's something that I was so crazy to me seeing this problem out there that I want to fix it, and you know, I don't want to ever stop pushing until I can see this, you know, this passion and dream come to full fruition and see every police department in the United States using something that actually works. And you know, I think that's, like you said, there is this, like, I don't know if it's conscious or not, but you know, I really am always pushing to try to make this the best it can be. And you know, I think that really just comes from passion. If you're working on something that you have no passion for and you don't, it's just a, you know, just a side project, I don't think you're ever going to have that drive to make it the best it can be.
Yeah. So now, if I'm a student, you know, 21 years old, that was a little over a decade ago for me, and I was listening to this, I would be like, okay, makes sense, you know, have passion, be optimistic, always be, you know, trying to build stuff, get mentors, build a team, do all these great things, but the huge hurdle that's in front of me is funding. I don't have much funding. Maybe I don't have any money in the bank, especially right now. Maybe I got laid off from my job, and I have no money to start a business. I have student debts, all this stuff. So the money question.
Yeah.
So in your situation, it could have cost you millions of dollars to build out your solution. You do realize that, right?
Yes. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, I look at how many lines of code there are and go, "Oh man, this could have been really costly."
Oh yeah, I mean, you could have you could have hired a team of 24 engineers, marketing teams. You could have got $5-10 million in you know, seed round or really a round, and kind of built the same solution. So I guess my question is twofold. How much money did you have to actually start this business? And what advice do you give to people who ask that question? You know, what do I do if I don't have that much money to start my business?
You know, we really live in an amazing time in the world, in history. Uh, you can start a business for cheaper than pretty much ever before, especially an online business. You know, like you said, I could have gone out there and started getting all this money and hiring developers and all this stuff. But, you know, if you're willing to put in the work and learn and, you know, just work 20 hours a day and sleep 4 of those, you know, you can really, you can start your business yourself without needing that huge amount of money. I mean, 10-8 systems, when I first started out, I had a full dedicated server going for $75 a month. Um, 10 years ago, that would have been the specs that were on that server would have been crazy expensive. Now you can get a server for, you know, a few bucks a month that runs beautifully with Amazon or Microsoft or anything. You know, especially with internet businesses, it's such an amazing time in history where we can create our own projects and create our own businesses without having to worry so much about the funding. Because if you're willing to learn and you know, make it happen, then you really don't need any money to get that first initial boost.
Yeah, those are all very good points. So any tech business, any digital business, you can get started for a fairly low amount of money. It just is going to take, you know, 20 hours a day for a couple of years on end, at least, to get it started.
Yeah,
Right.
you're kind of trading the money for your hours.
Right. And then, I mean, you could also, I know maybe in your situation, maybe you could charge a little bit more for what you do. That's, you know, debatable. But for entrepreneurs that are, you know, building a product, maybe like a clothing line or something like that, there are other ways to launch it without having, you know, $100,000 in the bank account, and it's just start small and just build from the ground up.
Build up.
So
Yeah,
yeah, just
exactly.
buy a little bit of inventory, go out, sell it, and just keep on building on that. Just keep on. And another thing I know that you guys do is that the money that you get, you're paying yourself. You are paying yourself a little bit, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the money is going right back into the business. So you're continuously reinvesting in the business, which I think is a huge thing that is contributing to your guys' success right now. Right.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thing too, is, you know, you're not going to become an overnight millionaire. That's for sure. And anything that's good is going to take some time. And you have to know that you're going to have to be willing to give away some of your income to, you know, put back into the business. I mean, we put almost the entirety of our profit back into the business and back into getting cool new things for, cool new servers or cool different things, starting to work with other people. We put pretty much almost all of the money back into the business. And I think that's huge for us, because that's really what keeps us from having to pour our personal money in, because we've been able to set this up so that way all of our profits funnel right back in for now. You know, we can work hard now, we can play in a few years on our, luxury life.
Yeah. Well, and the way it usually works with entrepreneurs like yourselves is that you actually never make that transition. You just keep on building stuff.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's unfortunately what my future looks like. I'd like to be sipping a mojito on the beach, but I have a feeling I'm never going to be able to sit still and do that.
Yeah, you'd be sipping the mojito, and then you would look at your phone and see that a server's down, and you would, leave the beach. Probably take
Yeah.
the mojito, but leave the beach, and
Yeah, exactly.
go and fix what's going wrong.
It's
All
funny.
right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was talking to my mom the other day about this, and she was like, what are you going to do if you get all this money and you're just sitting around all day? And I was like, quite frankly, my dream is to sit on my own private island with my laptop and be working. Sit on a beach with my laptop and keep coding. I mean, I really love what I do. And, I don't think I could just sit around.
So your life's ambition is to prove that old adage that no man is an island is incorrect.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's great. So hey, do you have anything else to share? I want to keep these interviews short. So do you have anything else that you want to share?
No, I don't. I mean,
how can people find out more about you and 10H Systems?
If you want to find out more about me, you can go to Google. I don't really have a personal website,
You have
but
a LinkedIn?
What'd you say?
Do you have a LinkedIn?
I do have a LinkedIn. Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. That has some information about me, and feel free to message me and ask questions. And I love to help anybody where I can. 10H Systems, you can find 10H Systems at 10-8systems.com or 10-8.systems. Either one goes to the right URL.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, Bryan. That was great. I appreciate you doing this. I think this is, I did one of these interviews probably a couple of years ago, but I want to do more of these with entrepreneurs like yourself. And I think that people can really learn a lot from what you had to say. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you. I really appreciate you allowing me to give me this platform to be able to try to help people where I can.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Bryan. Have a good one.
Thank you. Stay healthy.